What's going on, Colts Nation? Welcome back to another Bring the Juice Colts podcast live stream, guys. Well, the news just came out a few hours ago that Sam Ehlinger is going to be the starting quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts for the remainder of the year. Max and Cody already had a live stream earlier talking about it, but we're going to go ahead and discuss and listen to Frank Reich, who was talking with the media just a few hours ago about this decision. So I'm going to share my screen here and we are going to listen to this presser together and we will go ahead and talk about it. And Max will just kind of listen to it and see what we hear.
Let's do it.
All right, let's listen.
Hey, had a chance to watch the film. Obviously, extremely disappointing loss. Extremely disappointing, right? Unacceptable to go in. We thought we were ready to play a good football game against a good team, and we didn't. Right, the core of the problem is we got to find a way to score more points. We got to get better in every area, offense, defense, and special teams. Obviously, primary focus on offense, scoring more points. I do believe in our team, right? I mean, that has not wavered and will not waver. Nobody can predict the future. Nobody can make guarantees. I'm not going to try to do either. All I can tell you is I got a lot of confidence in our team and our players and our coaches. Also wanted to note that we are going to make a significant change to the starting lineup. We are going to elevate Sam to be the starting quarterback. Extremely difficult decision, obviously, given the respect and admiration that we have for Matt Ryan and what he's done and what he's brought here. He is a pro's pro. This guy is special. And we know right at the quarterback position that it's not our poor production on offense is not on one person. It's not on Matt Ryan. But we also know, as Matt and I talked it through, hey, as head coach and quarterback, as head coach, ultimately it doesn't matter. I'm judged on wins and losses. Quarterbacks judged on points and production and turnovers. We understand that's how it is in this league. And so Matt will be a pro. I will say this, as you guys saw, or maybe saw, he did get banged up in the game. He does have a grade two shoulder separation. And so will not practice this week, will be inactive. Nick will be number 2. But Matt is committed to helping this team in every way he can. He's got a lot of years of experience. You always got to stay ready. You never know. This is a funny league. So still believe Matt's going to help us get to where we want to go in whatever role that is. Excited for Sam and the opportunity this presents for him. We've always thought from day one that Sam had some kind of special sauce. He's continued to show it. I've been particularly impressed with Sam this year in practice. Once the season has started, to look he's given on scout team, the quality of his throws, the way he's commanding himself out there, just the total package. So just feel like at this point, that's the best decision for our team going forward. I'll open it up.
Well, I mean, I will say this, Max, he definitely sounded right off the bat. He definitely sounded defeated. No question about it. We talked about this, we talked about it in the video that I'm about to upload, that obviously he doesn't, he had to talk with Irsay and clearly some things were probably said, but he definitely looked defeated in that first part, talking about the fact that, they had to make that change because of it, because it probably wasn't Reich's decision.
Yeah, and it wasn't Reich's decision because he said in the beginning of the press conference that I have confidence in all my coaches and players. And then he said, okay, but one significant lineup change. Sam Ehlinger is going to be starting for us on Sunday and for the rest of the season. So Frank Reich has confidence in all of his players and probably Matt Ryan to be a starting quarterback. But this decision was beyond him. This decision came from Jim Irsay. And that showed it just reading between the lines.
All right, hold up. I am just uploading the video here. Hold on. Get it. Okay, that's uploaded. I'll share that to Twitter here in a second. But let's just continue here for a second. Thank you to the 100 people, almost 100 people in here, guys. Be sure to like the stream. We're going to just keep reacting to this.
All right, Nate Atkins.
Frank, just on that line of thinking, was this sort of a conversation you guys have been having for a few weeks about, evaluating that position? And have you been thinking about a change, or what kind of was the moment that pushed you to that point of where you want to make a massive change like this?
I mean, every week is evaluated on its own. Then there's the cumulative and collective effect of it. You do with a player like Matt because of his legacy and history of what he's done and all that he's accomplished. You know, you want to measure twice and cut once. You want to make sure you make this move that it is truly the best thing for the team, and you don't want to rush into this kind of a judgment. So I don't think we did that. It wasn't like we were sitting here, well, let's wait till he throws an interception and then we're going to make a switch. It was the exact opposite. It was, for me, it was, you know, this guy's going to lead us where we want to go, and have that belief and confidence. At some point, you know, the head coach, you have to make hard decisions. You have to work through these things, and you know, they're not easy decisions to be made.
Wasn't your decision.
James Boyd.
What was that?
I said it wasn't your decision. As a head coach, I have to make some tough decisions. It wasn't your decision, Frank.
Yeah, very true on that. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to separate things. So hold on a second. All right. So I need to. Cody is messing with
Looks
me.
miserable, doesn't he?
He does. He definitely looks miserable. Yeah, I could imagine. The last few hours have probably not been very good for him.
Oh, absolutely not.
That would be my guess.
He had to face the wrath of Jim Irsay.
Yeah. Okay. All right, sweet. So Cody's going to re-edit my video and then put it up, our video that we just did. So there we go. Thank you to the 130 people in here. Guys, we'll have a video up very shortly on more about this sort of thing. So we're going to keep listening to this.
Frank, I know you announced this to us and the media just now, but did you have that conversation with Matt and Sam like overnight or early this morning? Like, how did that kind of go down? And what did you know leaving that stadium yesterday? Like QB1 is going to be Sam Ehlinger.
No, didn't know. You know, watched the tape coming home, got home, drove into the office, watched the tape again. So no, the decision wasn't made right away. Then this morning, I had those conversations with all three of those guys this morning, and obviously hard conversations. But the thing with Matt is he's such a pro. He made the conversation easy. You know, I mean, of course it's not easy, but he made it easier. And just the way he is.
Kevin Bone.
So obviously said it that, like, you know, obviously that was not a decision that was made when they first got there. But yeah, I mean, they said they had the conversation last night, and I'm assumed that the decision was made last night. And then this morning, after they slept on it, ultimately decided that this has to be done this morning.
Agreed.
All right.
One.
Frank, I've got two, just to clarify, if Matt was healthy, would he still be the number 2 or number 3, I guess, behind Sam?
Look at him shake his head.
He's not healthy, so I don't have to make that decision.
Okay, and then the other one, are you planning?
That
was very blunt.
That's a hard no.
That was very blunt. Like, he's not healthy, so I don't have to make that decision. Like, that sounds very politician-like. That, like, you couldn't answer the question right there. Like, I mean, that was literally what it is, right? Like, that's what we're sitting here. We're saying is that it's not that he's going to be the starter for the remainder of the season because we don't believe in Matt Ryan to take this team where we want to go at this point. Like, I mean, that's what we're talking about here. So why couldn't you just say that? Yeah, I mean, this is a decision that came down to, no, Matt Ryan is not going to be the starter for this team, even when he's healthy at this point. And like, everyone knows it now. Why not just say it?
It's above his control. Like, it's like, I don't think Frank has much leeway anymore. I think he's on a tightrope the rest of the season, like a tight leash.
Yep, absolutely. Hey, make sure y'all like the stream, guys. Helps to get out to more people. Thank you for joining us.
For Sam to be the starter the rest of the season?
Yes, right now the move is for Sam to be the starter the rest of the season.
Zach Kiefer.
Frank, would this let's say Matt wasn't, I'm just trying to clarify, was this made regardless of Matt's shoulder situation? Was this was going to be the move with whether he was healthy or not?
That is true. The shoulder injury is real, but this move was going to be made either way.
And then to follow up, I know Jim and Chris and you guys meet every week, and I know that's informal, and I know Jim usually doesn't interfere on personnel decisions. Has he been more vocal than usual about the quarterback situation this year?
I mean, Mr. Irsay has been incredibly supportive. Yeah, you're right, Zach. We do talk every week, talk in the locker room after the game, usually either talk that night by phone or sometimes in the next day or two. Did have a conversation, with both he and Chris late last night, for an hour or so, just talking everything through. Obviously he's right. Again, Mr. Irsay, as I've said many times, and you guys know better than me because you've been here longer than me, is he got a lot of wisdom, a lot of good counsel. We like to, certainly his vote is always going to carry. It's a one-man crew in that respect, but what I appreciate about him is that this is a collective decision. This is let's talk this through. Let's talk this through. He might lead the way in certain ways, but it's really owner, GM, head coach talking through a decision of this magnitude.
I don't believe that.
I don't believe it.
I don't believe in that moment right there. Like, I feel most other decisions are definitely true, but this one, I'm 100% positive that Frank Reich did not want that move to be made, but the other two did.
He said it's a one-man show in that regard, and then he said it was a collaborative decision.
Yeah, like you can't just say, oh, it was a one. He has the potential to be having it a one-man decision, but then just say right after it was a collective decision. Like, you specifically came out and said that you apologized to Matt Ryan for why this was going on. So it clearly shows you did not want this to happen. But sure enough, here we are. So
that whole conversation for an hour or so was all about the quarterback. I'll tell you that, and maybe their job security.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows? But let's keep going here. About halfway through this.
Joel Erickson.
Frank, you guys made a significant financial commitment to Matt Ryan in the offseason. And, Mr. Irsay said that in the offseason they could see him being the starter for 3 or 4 years. Given all that, what you guys said about Ryan and the financial commitment, is it frustrating?
That look right there, that look of looking down, the teeth gritting, that right there is a man that knows that he got his ass whooped last night, and he is dreading this 100%, Max.
I don't know why Chris Ballard's not talking to the media today. That's a little odd. He should be. He shouldn't be leaving his head coach out there to dry.
Right, because this is ultimately a decision that had to come down to, yeah, I mean, why does Frank Reich need to be the one to make that decision?
This is a major decision. This was waving the white flag.
It feels like it.
This GM is something else.
It's weird. It is weird, but yeah, that is a man that definitely looks like he's been defeated. So yeah, we'll keep going here.
That you're at this point already to be switching to Sam Ehlinger?
No, it's frustrating. And, two things I have to say to that question, Joel, is first of all, it just shows Mr. Irsay's commitment to winning, right? He's committed to winning championships, and anything short of winning a championship isn't going to be good enough. Okay. So that comes no one's exempt from that. Not the head coach, not anybody. Right. So he's going to make the decisions that he thinks is best for this team and this organization to win championships, and so, and that's where it all starts and finishes. Now, what was the first part of your question, Joel? I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's probably not worded very well, but the financial commitment.
Oh, okay.
It was supposed to be a 2-year plan with Ryan, and feels early to abandon that.
Yeah, the other thing, and no, that's fair. Good point. this is another point that needs to be made crystal clear. And I told this to Matt, right? Hey, Matt, we did not hold up to our end of the bargain here, right? I mean, you know, you came here and we promised you a top NFL rushing game, and we promised you great protection. And we haven't really, as an offense, delivered on that. And that really starts with me, right? So that's basically, you know, my message to Matt is that we thought the marriage of Matt Ryan and his history with our running game, he's had 14 years of incredibly productive, great quarterback play with great play action. So we just thought there was going to be a natural marriage there. It made a lot of sense. It just, you know, given our crazy quarterback scenarios over the last 5 years, it wasn't a move of desperation. It wasn't a move of, oh, well, let's just grab the next thing. No, I mean, it was a well thought out, does this seem right? Nobody's just, oh, who's available? Oh, who's thrown the most touchdowns? Let's get that guy. No, this decision was made based off of watching the tape on him, seeing he's been productive in play action. We can provide him a great running game, give him good protection. He's older, you know, so it doesn't run around a lot, but we can give him good protection. And as an offense, I think we're making strides to that, but we're not there yet.
Not even close.
So there's the thing with the financial situation. I mean, obviously now you're looking at it again, Max, like again, paying him however much money this year. I don't remember the exact amount.
23. 24.
So that amount of money to now have this guy sitting on the bench doing absolutely nothing, right? I mean, that doesn't just go on Reich. That's on Ballard too, because Ballard's the one that signs it. Reich can give as much input on who he wants at quarterback as he pleases, but ultimately at the end of the day, that's on Ballard to make that decision to do that. And there you go. You went with another quarterback that's older and now isn't performing. And then the other thing he said, you and I mentioned it in the video that's about to go up, where we talked about Reich saying, hey, we promised you an O-line. We promised you a running game. We promised you this. We promised you that. And offensively, none of that has come to fruition. So he said it. That's on me. Like, need we say more? I mean, really, need we say more about whose fault it is right now?
He said that they promised him a lot of stuff. It didn't come to fruition. But with the trade deadline coming up and the owner who's in the beginning of the season said all chips in, don't you think they would kind of add to that a little bit with maybe like maybe if they had 2 2s at the compensatory pick? It's way too late now. Like now it's all over. But like, you would think that they would make some moves and maybe try to fix this a little bit and then go on a run. They did the complete opposite. So now we're with Sam Ehlinger the rest of the year, and we'll see what he can do.
Right.
Stephen Holder.
Frank, so can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
Sorry. So where is Sam in terms of, you know, just preparedness for this? I mean, this wasn't something you were planning. Your offense, does it have to change? I mean, I don't know. Just where's he at, and how ready is he for this, given that he's really only played in the preseason?
Yeah, I mean, it's a big step, but we think he's ready. And this guy's special. You all know it. Everybody knows it. Just talk to anybody. Just anybody that walks in this, anybody in that locker room, you know. And we're fortunate to have a guy like, you know, three quarterbacks like that. But Sam, he's got that about him. He carries himself in a way. He plays. He practices in a way. He'll be ready. He'll be ready. I mean, is he going to have some growing pains? Of course. Is he going to make mistakes? Of course he's going to make mistakes. But I think Sam will make plays. Sam is going to make plays. He's proven that everywhere he's been, and we believe that's what he's going to do for our offense. He's going to make plays.
Yeah. So that was one, and it sounds like Holder might have another question here, but yeah, it's all about, you know, and I think the problem that we've had, Max, and it's been we've had the Ehlinger fanboys, you know, all telling us that, hey, you know, like Ehlinger just needs a shot, right? And even I, after the preseason, I was like definitively sitting here and I was saying, just make Sam Ehlinger quarterback 2 at this point. Because even though he's not playing against the same competition as Matt, like at least he's showing something. And that was what was making me feel like, he could be QB2. Now we're wondering just how much does Sam Ehlinger actually improve this offense with what is going on, right? Because he's going to be walking into the same situation. And how do we grade Sam Ehlinger based on all this?
That's a good question. I honestly don't know. I told Cody earlier that we should put in just let the rookies play. Jelani, Alec Pierce, put back in Ryman at left tackle, put back in Nick Cross on defense and see what he's got. We're already throwing in the towel. This is just so disappointing.
It just stinks because also and we're going to get back to this here in a second, guys. Thank you to the 300 people that are watching, and thank you guys for liking the stream and subscribing and commenting. It's just one of those situations as well where, it sucks talking about some of these guys and failing the way that they do, because I mean, I'm sure, Max, you and we walk into a bar or we walk into a room and there's Matt Ryan and we see him and we're like, we know the man that he is a fantastic man. And what he has done in his NFL career is just an absolute, it's a treasure. He's going to go down as one of the best quarterbacks that's ever played the game. And, it's hard to sit here and watch this all fall apart again. Another quarterback that has, and this is like the second veteran legacy holder quarterback that we've had in the last 3 years. You had Phillip Rivers in 2020. Phillip Rivers, one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. And same with Matt Ryan. And then to just see it fall apart the way it is right now with this organization, it sucks talking about these guys like as if they're chopped liver when you have so much more respect for some of these guys.
I feel like it's time to let the rookies develop. You got to see what you have with this draft class. Put Nick Cross back in on defense, like I said. Let him develop. Put Bernard Ryman back in at left tackle and see what you have. It's really disappointing. This is week 8 and we're at this point. This is just brutal. This is a failure, organizational failure. And if this GM survives this, I don't trust them picking a quarterback next year.
The weird thing is, I think that from a talent evaluation standpoint, that Ballard and company do a fantastic job evaluating talent. Now, I mean, what do we feel about it with the quarterback position? I don't know. And we're going to have that conversation in the off season as well. I know I'll have you on talking about that, but you're right. We've never been in a situation where Ballard has had to do that, right? We've seen him blunder in some of the positions that he's drafted, right? Defensive ends. He's blundered in a lot of those. I mean, Tyquan Lewis, I think, might be Quiddy. We're hoping becomes that, right? We're waiting for some of his defensive end picks to come together, right? But for the most part, he's put a lot of first and second round draft picks into these defensive ends, and none of them are really shining, right? And then the wide receivers, obviously wide receiver, it wasn't good for a while, but now you did get Paris Campbell, who's now playing well. Michael Pittman was a clear good decision. Alec Pierce looks like he could become a good decision. Yeah. So, those decisions and, drafting Shaquille Leonard and drafting some of these other secondary guys, that stuff all has been good. He's been done a really good job of evaluating that talent, but we've never seen him actually make a move at quarterback yet. So you're right. Does he implement the same logic to the quarterback room? Because from what I heard is that he really loved Justin Fields, but never actually wanted to never wanted to throw his hat into the ring and say, yeah, we're we're going to invest into this guy, right? Like it sounds like he's afraid to do so. So we'll talk more about that, but let's go ahead and listen a little bit more here to what these guys have to say.
Well, his mobility, how does that change things for you from a play calling standpoint or emphasis or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, anytime a quarterback, you always have this adage. Sometimes, well, not always. Sometimes if you have a quarterback who can scramble and get out into the open, if you can just get us one or two a game, get us one or two third down conversions where you scramble, you get one or two a game. Those are huge plays. And Sam, as we all know, we've all witnessed, he has the capability to do that. And sometimes in a game, it's those one or two third down conversions on a scramble that can make the difference in a game. Not always. You can win the game from the pocket. You guys know, I believe that. We've seen it. Matt's won a lot of games from the pocket in his career, so on and so forth. A lot of guys have won games from the pocket. But when you're a guy that has the ability that Sam has, and you can make those plays, and by the way, I think on top of it, he's good in the pocket. I think he's continued. I've seen that more this season than I did even last year, that I believe he can be good from the pocket. So, Stephen, we can still stay true to some of the stuff that we like, but we can do a little bit more in some of the movement stuff.
All right, we'll go two more. Greg Doyle.
Frank, 9 days ago, Sam wasn't good enough to be your backup quarterback, and now he's your starter. It just looks to me, hell, like you guys don't know what you're doing.
Wait a minute. Did he say this is Greg Doyle asking this question?
Yeah.
Okay. This is going to be interesting.
It already started off pretty good.
Sam was?
What's up?
It already started off pretty good.
Yeah, right.
All right, we'll go two more. Greg Doyle.
Yeah.
Frank, 9 days ago, Sam wasn't good enough to be your backup quarterback, and now he's your starter. It just looks to me, hell, like you guys don't know what you're doing. Did you not see what Sam was?
That's
like, all of a sudden
awesome.
he's good enough to start. Where was he 6 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago to be the backup?
Yeah, I don't think you're.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Yeah. And listen, here's the thing. I have my, I definitely have my, bad feelings about Greg Doyle. Anyone that has seen anything about me when it talks about on Twitter and stuff, I think Greg Doyle is definitely the most overactive person when it comes to any of the Colts media. But because of that, you get things like this, like none of the BS stuff. Like, there it is. That's the question. Like, I mean, it's the one that everyone is wanting to know, right? So it'll be interesting to see how Frank responds to this. Let's see.
You need guys like Greg Doyle to ask those kind of questions and not try to kiss their ass for media accessibility.
Yeah. Yep. And Greg is one of the few guys in the media that will actually do that. So let's see this.
You were listening, Greg. I don't think you were listening, because we made it clear that when we that based off the preseason that the two guys had, Foles and Sam, that we were extremely happy with both of them, and we'd be thrilled with either one of them, right? I mean, they both had great preseasons. Sam had a particularly good preseason. Nick brought a long track record as a great backup, and that we still value very highly, and did a lot of good things on the practice field. And as far as Sam was concerned, we have continued to quote unquote sing his praises, and felt like it was always 2A and 2B, if you will. So feel like this is exactly why we wanted all three of these guys on the roster.
All right, Joel Erickson, last question.
That's interesting.
Frank, you guys.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I mean, he's referring to, how before, like, Ehlinger, when he got promoted, like, what was it, 2 weeks ago that he got promoted to being the quarterback number 2, right? And then he's obviously talking about how, like, why it took them so long to do this. Now, I will say this to Greg's point about saying, like, oh, we don't know if you guys know what you're doing here. Like, the funny thing is that I said that same thing multiple times at the beginning of the season. When I talked about the left tackle situation, Max, the coaching staff came out and said, Matt Pryor is the guy. He is clearly better. And then within a quarter of the first game, they changed their minds. And that Ryman did enough to show that he deserves some success. Like, so yeah, I mean, what are we doing here? Like you retracted on your previous statement that quickly. And it's been like that for a bunch of different things. So, I mean, to Greg's point, he is kind of right. Like, you know, it's what a lot of fans are saying the same thing. Like, you guys don't really know what you're doing because in multiple different instances on multiple different positions, you guys have constantly gone back and forth and then have retracted or have done differently than what you guys have said to the media. So, you know, it's a hypocritical thing or just a fact of you don't know what you're talking about.
I don't think they have a clue. Like I don't think they have a clue what they're doing, honestly. They traded for Matt Ryan. They complimented him. They like to no end over the offseason. Now you're benching him 7 games into the season and saying Ehlinger is special and the things he can do probably will help jolt this offense. I don't really understand. I mean, if you have these 7 games into the season and Frank said he watched the tape and they thought they can be a good play action team and good running game, like the running game is still going to be non-existent when Sam's in. That's going to be no different. It's going to be the same or different offensive line again when he starts on Sunday. So unless Sam's running the ball himself 10 to 15 times a game, it's all going to be the same exact same.
Mm-hmm.
It's all going to be the same thing.
Oh yeah. We've always said it. Like, I mean, they say one thing, but they never want to go away from their philosophy. You know, like it never seems the same. So
this is just so frustrating. 7 games into the season, Matt Ryan's already not good enough to play.
Yeah, right. I mean, yeah, and the fact that, like I said, I mean, you're the fact that you're paying this guy $20+ million to sit on the bench now. Think of all that cap you could be using for a lot of different things. That $20 million, bro, you could have, I mean, obviously, okay, I'm going to refrain from saying what I'm about to say because it's going to sound stupid. Clearly, a no-star receiver wants to come to Indianapolis where they had Sam Ehlinger being the quarterback. But again, it goes back to the same thing. If we had taking care of this issue a long time ago with figuring out who our future quarterback was, who knows? Maybe that actually wouldn't have been a thing. Then you'd have had that $20 million. You could have went and got a Christian Kirk. You could have went and got put your hat into the ring for Devontae Adams. You know, something of that nature, right? So, you know, it is what it is, but that was funny. That was actually really funny. That is one of the few times that I've ever heard one of the media guys in a presser say something like that. And that was insane.
We're all frustrated. I'm glad he said that.
Yeah, I am too. It's something I would say too. Like, you know, like, why do you guys keep retracting your previous statements? But I think this is the last question here of this presser.
Yeah.
It's in training camp, Matt.
Go back
2A and 2B, if you will. So feel like this is that all 3 of these guys on the roster.
All right, Joel Erickson, last question.
Frank, you guys in training camp, Matt and Nick took most of the reps in terms of 11 on 11, that kind of thing. Has Sam been getting more practice reps, you know, now that you guys are in the regular season in terms of getting him ready to do this?
Yes, he has. And he's looked particularly good. In fact, I just told Chris last week, there was one day he was running scout. He was just a scout team, but this is just a testament to Sam. But really, this is what we tell players all the time. Every play is evaluated. You're being evaluated. Coaches, players, head coaches, position coaches, players. You're being evaluated every second of every day when you're in this building. That's just the way it works. I mean, when you're in the most competitive industry. And I told Chris Ballard last week, Sam had one of the best weeks of practice I've ever seen him have. He made 4 or 5 what I would say to you are elite throws I mean, elite big time throws down the field, threading coverage, putting the ball right where it should be. Those things don't go unnoticed. Those things don't go unnoticed. Those things factor into the decision. And he's continued to do that this year.
All right. That's it. So that, guys, was the presser for Frank Reich on the decision to bench Matt Ryan and sign or to promote Sam Ehlinger to the starting quarterback role. I think that obviously we'll get to more of it in videos going forward, but very, very interesting. Very interesting to hear from those perspectives. Again, what you and I kind of took from it, he sounded defeated, sounded like, he was trying to come up with the best solution possible to not sound like he's losing his job. Yeah. And then you obviously had Doyle coming after him, trying to come after it. And this is one of the few times that I've seen Frank Reich kind of get defensive in a way. So it was a very weird, it was very strange press conference, Max, very different than what we're used to seeing.
We haven't seen this. Remember, we broke down a press conference, I think, after the Jacksonville blowout when they got shut out. Remember that press conference where Reich was all tense and stuff and like doing like different hand motions and like talking really fast. This was not as bad as that, but he was trying to dodge some questions and not trying to throw. Not trying to say like Jim made the decision for me. Like I really had no control over this decision.
Yep. Very interesting. But thank you again, guys, to the 400 people who were in on this stream. That's going to do it for this one. We'll have some more content coming out over the next few days. Obviously, the rest of this season is going to be very interesting, Max, because now you have a new quarterback. You're going to see, maybe there's more personnel decisions coming along the way. But either way, we're going to see what happens here. Hold on. Cody says he wants to come in. Yeah, come on in, Cody. I guess we'll wait, guys. We'll wait and we'll hang around for a few more seconds because Cody wants to come in real quick. He wants to talk about what went down. So come on in, Cody. But yeah, I mean, it is very weird to have heard that. I thought that was hilarious hearing Greg say what he said.
Yeah.
That was really funny. Oh, here's Cody. Cody.
Yo, that was wild what Greg Doyle said. Holy crap.
Dude,
I legitimately
I mean, what? Listen, you know how I feel about Doyle at times, but I mean, I said it in the stream, like, I mean, he's got the guts to call it as he sees it. And he's only saying what every Colts fan is feeling right now. And that's like, we don't think you guys know what you're doing here because, you're 3-3-1 again. And, not looking like you guys have figured it out. So,
yeah. Well, it was funny. I've never seen Frank Reich. He would tick. Like, I've never seen him like that. And legitimately, guys, I was like, is he about to cry? Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, I'm not trying to make fun of him, but like, I legitimately thought he was going to cry. Like that's what his face told me. And so, I guess kind of what I think from it is, and there's people that think he's going to be around another year. And I'm like, I don't know how you see that, because to me, he looked like a dead man walking. Like, I'm not even kidding. He looked like he was defeated. Like, he knew he's not back with the Colts. Like, there's no way, in my opinion, that he could be back with the Colts. Like,
yeah, he's not even fighting for his job at this point. I think it's unfair that he still has a job, because I think he knows that this is the end of the line for him, but you're still keeping him around for the last 10 games for what? Like, just let him get a new head start on trying to find another job for next year, or trying to take a break and just take a mental break. I'm sure this season has been terrible for him.
Sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, absolutely. It's just, to me, I was like, I saw like one of our friends like post something on Twitter about it, and then I just like watched the press conference, and I'm just like, I can't see him being back. Like, there just seems to be no way that he's back. And it's just bizarre. I've really never seen Frank Reich just that defeated before. So.
Mm-hmm.
And he kept
Yeah,
saying they were 3-3-1. Like he said that 3 times last night at his press conference. We're 3-3-1. We're 3-3-1. We're 3-3-1. And like he's like said, like I have confidence that all of our goals are still in front of us and we'll get to where we want to go. And then today, the Ehlinger benching. So I guess ownership starting. So I guess ownership didn't feel the same way. I guess he's just
No, of course not. I mean, with the video that we just did, Cody, I mean, this move means more than what it's not just Matt Ryan clearly isn't good enough. Sam Ehlinger just is actually better. And that's why we're making this decision. That's not what this is. This is a move of Jim Irsay is tired of Ballard and Reich making all the decisions at quarterback, and it's not doing them anything. So Irsay decided, I'm going to make the move. It's my time. And, Reich was very close to saying that it was going to be, that it was Irsay's decision.
Yeah.
Very close, but he didn't end up saying it. But we all are sitting here knowing that with Frank Reich talking about how, he's apologized to Matt Ryan for everything that was going on and things of this nature. Like, it's clear who his heart felt on who should be quarterback, and that Frank Reich knows it is his fault, that it's mainly his fault as to why this offense didn't provide Matt Ryan a better chance to succeed.
I mean, you see his face. It tells it all whenever he's asked about it. Like, he's clearly not happy with the decision. Like, he can say all he wants that it was a collective decision, but it's clear that it was not, like, at all. And the fact that he really deflected that question when it was asked first, I think it was Kevin Bowen who asked it, and basically just like completely deflected the question. It's like, okay, you gave away your answer without even saying anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so yeah, I mean, I think to this point, it's like, yeah, I don't see how there's a comeback from this unless like something drastic happens, which, I mean, Sam Ehlinger's never played an NFL snap in a regular season game. I don't think he has. If so, it's been like one snap. So
I don't believe he actually has. So
yeah, and I just thought it was funny how Sam was QB3 and now all of a sudden he's QB1 within a couple weeks. Like that tells you all you need to know about where the Colts are at quarterback.
Yeah, and I think the reason I think this is definitely a move for the future. Like we've said, like we've all, I guess, agree on this is a move for the future and to see what we have in Ehlinger behind Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan has been awful this season, awful. Like Matt Ryan has never had a season like this in his career, and this is probably because of his age, or it's because of the system, or it's lack of protection. It could be all three.
Yeah, it's probably all three.
But if we weren't throwing him a towel, or if we weren't trying to see what we have for the future, or acknowledging that we have real problems, Matt Ryan would have been starting next week against the Commanders. Because I think Matt Ryan's a better quarterback than Taylor Heineke, even with the struggle so far.
Yeah.
We think like I feel like they could have made a move at the trade deadline. Just doing something just to add to this offense, just doing something to match the talent level that the defense has.
Yeah. Like you said, trying to see what you have in Ehlinger. That's the whole point of this move. You're trying to see what you have in him. And if you see some level of really good play, then you think maybe that's something that if we fix the offensive line, we get him another year in a regular system and we do this and this, then maybe, there is something we could salvage out of that. But if you don't see that quality of him being great, then you just got to go get somebody. And that's the point that you're at now. Cause I mean, Cody, we kind of mentioned it in the video as well that, do we really expect this Colts team with 9 games left to play that they're going to win 4 or 5 games at this point? I really don't see them winning 5 of their last 10 games at this point with Sam Ehlinger being the quarterback. I mean, that's just me, but that's at a point where, okay, you'll probably be in the middle of the draft order at that point. Makes it to the point where you're not winning these games by the grit of your teeth. And, we might be looking at, maybe moving up at that point in the draft.
Yeah. And I think, and we talked about it a little bit, Max, just on the stream. I mean, at this point, like Sam hasn't done anything to warrant, being the starting quarterback. It's just that's how bad your quarterback situation is right now. And yeah, I mean, I don't even know, man. Like, it's just like at this point. Oh, what I was going to say. I forgot what I was going to say, but now I got it. I think regardless of how Sam plays, unless he's just like lights it on fire and you make a playoff run, deep playoff run, I think quarterback has to be on the table. You have to draft one first overall.
Right.
And
You
let
can't settle for just
duke it out.
average gameplay. You can't
No,
settle
not at
for
all.
average gameplay. You can't do it. It can't even be decent to good gameplay. It has to be, you have to see some great level play from Ehlinger to make me think that this is worth salvaging, because there's just no point in settling for average anymore. And you're not going to get the free. They mentioned it last offseason when we were talking about, not many wide receivers want to come to your team when you don't have your quarterback situation figured out. Well, there you go. I think that the likelihood of Stroud, Young, Hooker, or Levis coming into this team next year would be a lot better of a pitch for a wide receiver, even early in free agency. If you tell them like, hey, we are going to go get this quarterback in the first round, man, we're going to figure this out. We want to have you here for when we bring our guy in, right? Like, that's a better pitch than saying, oh yeah, we're going to have Sam Ehlinger as the quarterback. No disrespect to Sam, but like, it's the pitch that you have to make.
Yeah, it's time to find that next guy that comes in as a rookie. You groom him to be the franchise quarterback. No, like you said, nothing against Sam, but Sam has got an uphill climb if he's going to be the quarterback on the team next year, starting quarterback.
Yep, and I think the other thing that really makes me mad, Cody, is they mentioned it one time in the presser, talking about how, that's $20 million from Matt Ryan sitting on the bench, right? Like, think about that. $20 million. What you could have spent if you would have just said, okay, well, we are just going to go with Ehlinger at the start of the year. We don't have our quarterback situation figured out, but we're going to see what Ehlinger does and see how it goes. And then think of what that 20 million could do to you. Like, what you could have done with that 20 million, getting a better offensive lineman, getting another weapon somewhere for yourself, maybe somebody else on the defense in that secondary, get an elite piece. I mean, you look at some of the guys who we said could have potentially got brought in to this team with, James Bradbury, who by all accounts right now is playing like a top 10 corner in the league and shutdown. Rock Yassin is playing like a top 10 corner in the league right now, and we got rid of him. I mean, not saying that Stephon Gilmore is not playing really well. He's playing well. Isaiah Rodgers is playing well when they decide to actually play him. But, you're in a situation where you need to really start being smarter with your money. And it's clear that a lot of the money this season, from Ballard's sake, has not been spent well.
No, not at all. It has not been spent well. And, you still have glaring holes. Guys, how many years are we going to just say you have an issue at quarterback, you have an issue at left tackle, you have an issue at pass rush? Every single year, it's the same issues. Mm-hmm. It never changes with this organization.
I will say this. I do think that the pass defense has gotten better this year. I think the pass rush is finally starting to figure it out a little bit. And at least from a pressure standpoint, obviously this defense is doing its best that it can right now. It's playing like a potential top 10 defense, and it's in that category right now where it is for the most part giving teams the chances to win games. And that's the thing. Like, if this defense wasn't good like it is now, I mean, this team may not have a win. I mean, that's how bad this team has been, that we may not even have a win if it wasn't for how good this defense is playing right now. So
it's scary.
It is scary.
It's a disaster. It's a disaster.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the rest of the season goes. Obviously, I don't know how many pressers we're gonna have like this. Who knows? It'll be very interesting, to say the least, about what's gonna happen with this Colts team going forward. Because obviously now you've shown your intentions. You're figuring out your quarterback situation. You clearly don't know what's going on right now. You're either going to get one in the draft or you're rolling with Sam Ehlinger at this point. Or somehow, some way, Ballard trades for a quarterback somewhere at the end of the season.
Oh, no.
When things like that. I don't know. I
going
can't
back to
ever
Target.
predict Ballard's movements because we've never seen him actually make a franchise level move at quarterback yet. We thought that's what they could have potentially done with Carson Wentz. That experiment obviously failed. So
we can't take another team's retread quarterback. We can't.
I know I'm at that point where I don't feel that. I feel that way the same way.
You can't do it anymore.
You just never know. You never know when it comes to Ballard. I mean, we heard how much he apparently liked Justin Fields. He just never wanted to actually pull the trigger on him.
Well, this is the year to do it. He's under some pressure now. If he's gonna be able to pick the quarterback, he's definitely feeling the heat now to pick one.
Right.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, as much as we give Reich his necessary flack, what has Ballard done to help him out in the quarterback situation? Not really a ton. So, I mean, he definitely deserves some criticism there of being afraid to take a chance on a guy, a rookie guy.
Yep.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, think that is going to do it for this one, guys. That's our reaction to the Reich presser on the decision to bench Matt Ryan and start Sam Ehlinger for the rest of the season. Let us know your thoughts, guys. We're going to have more content going up on this situation and everything else going on. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. And as always, guys, go Colts.